I'm sorry.
Good morning, friends. Hello, good morning.
Morning. We're listening.
Oh, great. We have a great morning in store. We have a morning of mental health and well-being with Julie Kremer, Poole. Mental health and well-being is Julie's mantra, the cornerstone of her practice. With balanced mental health, Julie believes we might have world peace. What triggers in life may be blocking you from achieving your big, hairy, audacious goals. Let's discover together what might be liberating and what kind of life we might have if early life triggers could be soothed. What would it be like if our protective emotions could stop hijacking the captain's chair of your Starship Enterprise and be able to easily blast off into space to witness the divine design we came here to experience? BHS friends, please welcome Julie. Hello. Good morning. I think you have to turn on your
Testing.
Got it.
Very good. Good morning. How are you? It is so amazing to be here with you today. Thank you for taking your time on this beautiful October morning to be indoors. I just took a step outside and the sky is just amazing. We are experiencing the full moon right now, and it is, yeah.
You start off getting some mountains.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't that lovely?
On the way here, it's
Yeah.
amazing. So, good morning. I am Julie Kremer, Poole, Colorado native for 48 years. I left for 10 years. I'll tell you a little bit more about that. Traveled all over the world and lived in St. Louis. I am 26 years teaching yoga and have a personal training studio here in Lakewood, Colorado. I am just so grateful to be able to give service with all of you today, to speak and serve here in another capacity at Alameda Church, as I basically grew up here. I was baptized by both doctors, Fred and Dr. Roger Steele. I reflect on that and wonder if part of my baptism included, and you will be on the spiritual path. So it's just the core of who I am, and spiritual empowerment and service to mankind has just always been at the root of my foundation. I became a practitioner of the course here at Mile High and have the huge honor of being one of the being the lead of the prayer team together with Jackie Leonard here in our High Ground Teen and Youth Program. And now to be able to come full circle and serve you all here today with my message of a morning of mental health. Mental health and well-being is my mantra, as Melissa introduced. And with that said, I humbly thank you for allowing me this opportunity. So let's just take a deep breath and allow ourselves to ground, releasing whatever it is that we're holding on to, finishing our bite, and just allow ourselves to be present in this moment. It's a beautiful morning of a Thursday in October, mid-October, few months left of this year, 2024, and how sacred and special this time is. I just know that the divine presence of God is everywhere, in and through the fabric of all of life, above, below, and around and through each and every being here that has been called forth today to say yes. To say yes to supporting and empowering their divine design. They're not clicking in and out of anyone else's dream. They are punching in to their root, core yes at this point in time in their life. And so I just honor and am so grateful to all of us for saying yes to that truth in which wakes us up and we are awake and feeling inspired and alive and ready to say yes. I just honor all contributions that happen here today and the divine wisdom that flows right through, as we are open at the top at the crown chakra, and we are anchored into the core truth of our very being through the roots of our being, all the way down through each one of our chakras, centered and aligned and true to form. We feel this anchor dropping through all the layers of the planet, through the magma, the crystal caverns, all the way tethering to the core of the planet. And as we spend time today, I just honor the big T traumas and the little T traumas that each and every person has gone through in their life as a rite of passage for each and every one. Knowing that as we lean into the greater yes, as we're going to talk about today, there is purpose that can be juiced out of each and every experience that we have had and are going to have on this planet. And so I'm so grateful, knowing that any aspect of lack or limitation is just a veil of illusion to be lifted into the ethers. Lifted so high that if it to be a cloud separates, thins, and reveals the beautiful high noon sun shining deep down into and honoring our solar panel, our heart, and the truth of our very being. This is a sacred space. It is honored and loved and cherished. I cherish each and every one with such gratitude and releasing and knowing that it's all happening. There's no need to calculate how, when, where, why, what, or who. For each and every person, soothing of any triggers in life is all happening here and now, so that we can just be the truth of our divine design. And so it is. So it is. So continuing on with a little bit of my background, at the age of 20, I left and studied in St. Louis and abroad universal energy healing, finished my degree at Webster University in interactive digital media, and became a paralegal at our center, at our healing center, which are all different parts of the brain activated, right? In order to be able to serve the Vietnamese community and to be able to keep our spiritual center open. And this taught me how to run a business. So I was really given so many dynamic experiences in my time away to be able to come back and bring all of this back, this wisdom. My parents kept saying, when are you coming home? They thought I was going to be, I said, I'll be back in a year, and a year turned into 10. In 2005, my father suddenly passed by his own choice of mental illness. And I immediately relocated home for the care of my mother during her own journey of dementia and Alzheimer's. I spent 11 and a half years healing our beautiful relationship. And I was just so grateful at that full circle of time with her, because at first I looked at him and I said, you left me with her? And then when I realized the full circle of what was to transpire, I said, of course you left me with Mama. Because by him passing, it was a hard, bittersweet thing, but we continued to learn how to juice the goodness and the purpose out of everything that happens. And I found out that he was no longer her buffer, and she was able to let me in. She opened her eyes a month before she passed in my yoga studio as I was doing body work on her, and her eyes opened and she looked at me and she said, you really do love me. I said, of course I love you, Mama. And I'm so grateful to have been able to have this past 11 and a half years with you. This is the type of full circle that we're able to have if we lean into the greater purpose of what life brings to us, right? And so that we can understand more deeply how One of my master teachers, I've been so grateful. I am so grateful and have been so blessed to be able to have a variety of master teachers in my life, as I'm sure all of you are here too. One of my teachers, his saying was, life helps us discover the godlike path so that we can be of assistance to others during perilous times. And his name was Master Lumenbang. I hold that so close and dear to me because it has helped me in the darkest of moments to understand that there can be purpose in any situation, anything that can happen. I know and affirm that this today is a perfect moment to have this conversation, the perfect timing. My talk today with you is not happening in August like we originally planned. There is a series of events that transpired, and I thought for sure that was going to be what was going to happen, was going to be that time. And then my purse was stolen the day before I got on a trip to go to Hawaii, and over $5,000 later of replacing things. But we ended up, my son and I got there, and earlier than the original flight, and the series of miracles that transpired to be able to allow us and to support that yes and moving forward. And so I was going to speak with you about that and how no matter what the circumstance, even your purse can be stolen the day before a trip to Hawaii, you can still be able to lean into and things can still work out if you keep the mind open and surrender at the same time. So that surrender experiment. But today, something else is ushering me to speak to you. Bringing into the room that we're just a few weeks, 3 weeks about, to make a big decision in our country. There's a leadership that's about to happen. There's an elephant in the room. Nobody really wants to talk about it. Everybody's holding their own personal, ideas to themselves. It's an important time for our planet. Everybody's going to be impacted by the decisions that are about to transpire. My personal decision is of no need for me to share with you. But what is on my heart is there will only be, as we know, one person who sits in that presidential seat. The bigger question is on November 5th, will we be able to allow ourselves to be the United States of America and demonstrate, no matter what, the faith printed on the dollar bill, in God we trust? Or will we allow ourselves to be led and divided into the lonely lagoon of a fear-stricken division, separation, and segregation? Are you going to be able to remain calm and not just trusting, but certain that God can use whomever sits in the Oval Office of our White House to empower humanity in our continued path of spiritual evolution? So I just allow as an invite us to just breathe that in for a moment. And exhale. So as we continue to speak on our topic today, a morning of mental health and well-being, I have a dream. A world, a planet of total mental health for all of humanity. And I believe that we would therefore, in fact, harness world peace. Instead of pointing the finger at somebody else and having 3 fingers pointing back at ourselves. My personal fork in the road, as you could hear by the crackle in my voice, was owning my own mental health began on January 16th, 2005, when my father made his final personal choice to exit the planet. I had a roommate nearby who heard the news, and she said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." And she wrapped her arms around me and she started hugging me and holding me. And you would think that that's what you would do for a friend who was going through such news. But I felt like my world was spinning. I felt like I was just spiraling. And another dear friend, 5-foot Vietnamese man, walked into the room. His name was Victor, and he said, "Stop." He realized immediately what was happening. "Pack your bags." I won't try to interpret his little Vietnamese accent because it's just so cute. But he said, "Pack your bags, get on that plane, be there for your family and your friends. Don't make excuses for why your father did what he did. Be the light of joy that you know yourself to be." And the next thing that he said that dropped a steel rod through my spine was he said, "Everything in your life has prepared you for this moment." And I knew he was right. It lifted the veil of illusion instantly. I didn't know 10 steps, but I knew one. I was going to go pack my bags. I knew I also needed to breathe, because that was one of my practices that I understood that was going to help continue to keep me out of what was my lizard brain, what was trying to hijack my Starship Enterprise. We'll talk a little bit more about that. So while I was just about to pitch my tent next to my white flag of surrender on Mount Victimhood, I allowed myself to, in just a day and a half, be back with my entire community of Mile High Church and to be able to be present. I was there with my mother and my brother, who's 12 years older. He couldn't speak. And I understood why, because, I mean, he hadn't gone through some of the training that I've gone through. Now was to be the time where I was to experience his story, history, becoming my story. Textbook information that I had learned cognitively. And I was able to understand on a whole new level. Who here has seen the movie Inside Out? Kids movie? Yeah. It's not such a kids movie, is it? It's a movie for all ages. This movie portrays a perfect Universal Studios behind-the-scenes tour of our brain. It helps us to recognize that we are not our emotions, that our emotions are in fact character all to themselves. Here we're able to ask the question, which emotion best serves to be sitting in the captain's chair of my Starship Enterprise? Would anger be the best choice? Disgust? Fear? Or would joy be a more productive emotion? Or would you rather have emotions of the new sequel of Inside Out 2 with the hormonal emotions of puberty, hijacking, anxiety, envy, embarrassment? So here we're starting to be able to understand a new technology of awareness of our brain. There's a little story that I'd like to share with you. It's a story called Two Wolves. And I'm just realizing that my eyeballs need a little bit of help. "A fight is going on inside of me," said the boy. This is a Cherokee legend. The grandfather and his grandson. "A fight is going on inside of me," said the boy. "It's a terrible fight," he's telling his grandfather. "And it's between two wolves. One wolf is evil. He is anger, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, annoyance, self-pity. resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego. He continues, the other is good. He is joy, gratitude, serenity, interest, hope, amusement, inspiration, awe, love, and faith. The same fight is going on inside of you and inside of every other person too. Grandson says, which wolf will win? And the Cherokee simply replied, the one that you feed. So here is your roadmap to understanding 3 parts of our brain. Now we know that we have discovered about as much of our brain as beyond the depths of our ocean sea and the farthest reaches of outer space. As we're constantly discovering more, but we have concluded that there is a bit more going on here than just the right side and the left side of the brain of creativity and analytics. Now we understand that the brain can be understood in 3 parts. Brain 1.0, the reptilian brain, fight, flight, freeze, fawn, what is everybody else doing? Faint. All of these emotions are geared for safety and security and immediate survival. Brain 2.0 is our mammalian brain, or our midbrain, where we are hunting and gathering and primarily focused on survival for shelter and resources like pioneers traveling across the plains to find a good place to homestead. Brain 3.0 is our frontal lobe, or our neocortex, and it's all about creativity, neocortex, new cortex. We humans are the only species that we know of that has access to not just brain 1.0 and 2.0, but also has the accessibility of brain 3.0 as an organ that we refer to. But how many of us are using it? We've heard the age-old, are we using more than 5 or 10% of our brain? And why is that? I'm going to give you a scenario to help you with your road rage. Anybody, would that be helpful to anybody? The reference of brain 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0 will help you to understand how easy it is to be able to access brain 3.0, even though most people are just ping-ponging back and forth between brain 1.0 and 2.0, with the comfort of their cars, let alone within their comfort of their lives. So, you're driving down the highway, someone cuts you off. Are you going to go teach them a lesson? Who are they to think that they can just get away, driving away with the way that they are? Out of control. Or could you take a deep conscious breath? Because that first breath was unconscious, right? It was just the natural way of rhythm of breathing. But now, I'm dropping down from our reptilian fight or flight into hunting and gathering, collecting resources and safe space for me and my environment around me, for my car and those around me. I'm going to pull back. You know what? I can't judge that person. I don't know exactly what's going on for them. Maybe there's a pregnant person in the car. Who am I to say what's going on there? Is that all that we can do? One more deep breath. How is this perfect? How is this person my teacher? Maybe they're actually protecting me from some other thing that is up ahead, slowing me down. You know what? I'm going to just increase my awareness, my tool belt of what is available to me in this moment. The clock says, I have an extra hour and a half. I'm going to pull over this mom and pop coffee shop. I'm going to go get a cup of my favorite drink. I walk in. I run into somebody I haven't seen in so long. Oh my gosh, it is so good to see you. We get to reconnect. Or maybe Melissa and I just meet for the very first time. And we get to share because of some sort of synchronicity. We realize we have some aligned values and something to do, something to share. Or maybe it's reuniting our pen to the paper and just processing what's happening in our lives in this moment and just taking a moment to be with Spirit, to allow Spirit to move in and through and be the vessel, whether it's directly in an interaction, not forcing anything to just happen, just being present to what is. So here's 3 different options. What do we call it? Like parallel universes, right? Parallel planes, different endings. So now we have the opportunity to be able to realize we have a completely different opportunity that is available to us if we lean into how is this perfect? How is the situation being orchestrated for me and not to me? Now, I am no longer the victim of this situation. I am co-collaborating with the creative, with Spirit. There is a divine law in science of mind that talks about once you call into the possibility of something happening, like I know and affirm that this is perfect, show me how, it will be revealed to you. Now your eyes can be open. Who ever got a car and then all of a sudden it seems like everybody else just got the same car? Our eyes become open. There's this part of the brain, I won't test you later, it's called the reticular activating system. It's that little antenna that goes up when you are aware of things that are meaningful to you and important to you. When we wake up in the morning, do we have the opportunity to take which path? Is it, oh God, I hate my life. Just, God, another day of this? Like, really? Or, beep, beep, beep. Or maybe you just get a chance to naturally wake up. I love my life! Or maybe it's, I love my life, but I'm anchored in a different station. I'm anchored and tuned into a different frequency. So here is our opportunity to be able to set and tune in, because what's going to happen is our reticular activating system is going to tune in, that law of attraction is going to tune in to what it is that we're paying attention to. And it's going to try to prove you right. So whichever station we're on is what we're going to get. It's not purple polka-dotted elephants that we're going to manifest. It's about being the change that we wish to experience, right? On the center of your table, there's pieces of paper. Can you make sure that everybody has a piece of paper and a pen? Clear some space so that you're able to write. And once you're ready with that, go ahead and stand up. And I'm going to play a vibration of frequency that's called the Genius Wave. And it is a brilliant frequency of sound that is technology that is to activate the neocortex. And go ahead and turn around and face towards the red lotus in the back of the room, and allow yourself, and if it's hard for you to feel balance, if you feel like you're going to lose balance, then just kind of have a chair nearby, but allow yourself to center into the truth of who you are. And feeling that open at the top. Feel the universal energy flowing right in through the crown of your head. We're pointing to this direction because this is the direction of north, pointing towards your true north. Allowing yourself to recognize and affirm with ears over your shoulders, shoulders over your hips, hips over your knees, knees over your feet, toes wide, space in between your toes and fingers. Allowing yourself to feel the truth of who you are, the energy flowing from the top all the way down through the core of your body and tethering like an avatar through all of the crystal layers of earth and magma, all the way down to the core heartbeat of the planet. And allow yourself now to become deeply aware of the knees and joints in the body, and your neck and your shoulders. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Feel the belly expand. Exhale, deflate navel to spine. Inhale, inflating the belly, breathing into the rib cage, feeling the rib cage expand. Exhale, deflate the rib cage, navel to spine. Inflating the belly, breathing into the rib cage, all the way up into the collarbones, feeling the collarbones lift ever so slightly. Juicing everything out of this breath that you can. And exhale, deflate. Allowing the collarbones to rest down like buoys on the water. Deflating the rib cage, navel to spine. And now with the next inhalation, say out loud the word yes. Inhale. 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Scan the body. Notice how the body feels. Just recognize subtle shifting in the body or stability, swaying. No judgment, just noticing. On the next exhalation, on the count of 3, we're going to say yes again. And this time say yes with power. Inhale. 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Notice, scanning the body. Just observing. And the next exhalation, saying the word no. Inhale. 1, 2, 3.
No.
Just noticing. Noticing how it feels to say no. No judgment. There's no right or wrong. And the next exhalation with power and conviction, say no. 1, 2, 3.
No.
Notice. Just be witness. Now imagine your favorite food is right in front of you. You're about to have the opportunity to eat it. Your taste buds are on their peak. Just notice. How does the body feel? imagine your least favorite food, something disgusting. It might even be toxic in your definition. And it's right in front of you, and you're being offered it. How does your body feel? It's totally unaligned with the truth of your being. Now as you stand, imagine a time in your life that has triggered you. Was this a time that triggered you and set you on your path of purpose to develop your own business? Did this event actually give you your why to live with your purpose and your passion? Maybe something happened to you that upset you. Maybe someone said or did something that your inner child would never allow to have happen to you or anyone else that you loved ever again. Maybe it left you feeling empowered or connected. Maybe it left you feeling disempowered and feeling disconnected. Notice where this situation is living in your body. Which chakra is impacted? If nothing is coming to you at this moment, what would it be like if you had a partner with optics on a situation to be able to help you to see some of your blind spots that are unconscious to you? The body knows what happened. Maybe this lifetime, maybe another, if you're open to it. Maybe it's maybe it happened in the womb, or maybe it's multi-generational. It happened within your bloodline. Small T traumas can be just as sabotaging as big T traumas. Because sometimes we just pass them off as no big deal or just get over it, we're told. But our inner child can't and won't. And if there wasn't anyone there for us at the time to help us to understand and process the situation, our inner child would become the protector and build a fortress of protection around themselves when it was in fact their innocence and vulnerability of their sweet spirit that is needed in this lifetime to accomplish your divine design. So when you're ready, feel free to come back to your chair, have a seat. Take a moment to be able to write down this experience for you. What was it like to say yes? What was it like to say no? What was it like to have the food in front of you that was the most satiating? There was vitamins and nutrition to your definition, no matter what anyone else's definition is. What was it like to have that thing offered in front of you that was not exactly what you knew in your body to be true, to support your body to its core and all that you're up to? As you write, I'm going to talk about our chakras. And our crown chakra lives the potential for inspiration, a process of meaning and opportunity to surrender to our highest good. But there is the possibility of obstacle, of the triggered emotion of lack of trust. Allow yourself now, as you shift from that reflection to a big, hairy, audacious goal or your purposeful passion. What would it be like if you felt completely on and inspired? Or do you have any lack of trust in your being? Our third eye has a potential for visualization, the process of imagination, an opportunity for clarity and certainty. But there's the obstacle of triggered emotion, of confusion. If there's confusion, sabotaging, how possible is it to be able to have clarity and visualization? And our throat chakra lives the potential for the communication, a process to create a new story, to speak your power, the opportunity for truth. But it is there, the obstacle of the triggered emotion that is potential of illusion and lies. If illusion and lies are running in the background, how possible is it for you to speak your truth? In our heart chakra lives the potential for connection, a process of connect with resource, an opportunity for love and alignment. But here is the obstacle of the triggered emotion, feeling unloved. If we're feeling unloved, are we able to feel connection in our microcosm, our macrocosm of our community, for ourselves? Our solar plexus lives the potential for empowerment, a process to create an empowering emotional home, an opportunity for deserving. But there is the possible obstacle of triggered emotion, unworthy. How easy is it to feel empowered if we are feeling unworthy? And our sacral chakra lives the potential for creation, a process of connect the dots, create a roadmap, make a plan, with an opportunity for connection. But what happens if the triggered emotion of alone is running in the background? In our root chakra lives the potential for grounded action, a process of action in the world, an opportunity for safety and stability. But there is the obstacle possible that could be running in the background of unsafe. How easy is it to be able to run with success in our big, hairy, audacious goals in that feeling of unsafe? What does it feel like when you're not aligned with your creative action? Do you procrastinate, self-sabotage, have stories or reasons, excuses why you can't? Do you leave things unfinished? Do you learn what about that you don't feel like you make a difference? The closer you are to alignment with what you want, the calmer it feels, Abraham says. What does it feel when you are aligned with your creative action? Your goals feel aligned with your values, vision, community, needs, desires. You easily figure out where you're blocked, schedule some time for some rest, which is the work that I do, and soothe the triggers. Adjust your plan without judgment, and instead recognize your position, having purpose to your process. Getting into alignment daily with centered activities that call forth action naturally, lighting up the neocortex like dancing, prayer, yoga, exercise, music. To change something, build a new model that makes the old one obsolete. Buckminster Fuller. This is the clue to upgrading the brain from brain 1.0 all the way to brain 3.0. I rejoice in life for its own sake. Life is a sort of splendid torch which I have to be able to hold for the moment, and I want to make it burn as bright as possible before handing it on to future generations. George Bernard Shaw. What is your legacy? What are you creating? And what will you have to leave behind for your loved ones to inherit? And lastly, doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is your plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Mary Oliver. And I'm just going to allow for a little moment, and we're done. We're done. But you guys can continue.
We only have 10 minutes, and the wisdom keepers need to get out.
Perfect. Thank you all so much for coming, for listening, and being open at the top. I so appreciate you. Namaste. The peace, the light, and the truth inside of me honor and recognize the peace, the light, and the truth inside of you. Namaste.